Obsidian Entertainment went full release for Grounded on the Xbox and PC platforms. It's published by the Xbox Game Studios and Microsoft. And this is a game that I've had my eyes on. I did play a little bit of the preview access version of the game a while ago, and I thought, this is pretty interesting. But I was looking forward to that 1.0 release, and it's finally here, and I've been putting tons of hours into this game. But I've not been playing it, I think, the way that the game allows for or kind of suggests for you to play it, which is much more community-oriented, to play it with some pals and to build up a little HQ and to create levels and all kinds of structures to protect yourself from the hordes and hordes of different insect monsters that are out to get you. And the whole idea with this game is really cool. It's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as a survival role-playing experience. I've been playing it single player, which is kind of akin to playing a Fallout type game, where I am cruising around and collecting stuff and building a few things like armor around my character, the various weapons and healing gadgets that I'm going to need to be able to survive, because it's perilous out there in the garden. There are all kinds of things that are going to come and get you. Giant spiders are at the forefront of the enemies that you're going to face. And it's amazing that there's an arachnophobia slider on this game, and that should tell you everything that you need to know. It's terrifying. It's cute, and it's a clever idea based on a cute movie, but it's not innocent, and you're going to die a lot. You're going to get a lot of that "you died" notification filling up the screen because the challenges are there. It's interesting the way that they've set this up because it's also a mystery. You've lost your memory, and you're trying to figure out how to grow again and get back to the reality that you once knew. And you can see it off in the distance with some really cool depth of field effects. You can actually climb to a high point and look out over the landscape, and you see it's a garden, and your house is out of focus way off in the distance. And it's really cool, and all the flowers and the beautiful scenery that might exist in a garden, as well as all the junk, broken up tin cans and turned over juice cartons and milk cartons and the debris of a larger life that you're trying to find your way back to. It's all around you. The memorabilia of what it would be like to be a giant in this world. But what is giant in this world are beetles and giant crows and carp floating in the pond, and everything will kill you. Even the tiny little spiderlings, the little baby spiders, will gang up on you and take you out. And so, as I was playing in single player, I was cruising around from scientific base to scientific base, collecting these cassette tapes that were kind of filling me in on the backstory, augmenting my science pool, because you actually collect science, which are these glowing purple orbs, and you collect them, and they give you more and more levels of resourcefulness, which allow you to build better structures or better armor or better weapons and gadgets like the zip lines and things like that. You're essentially trying to overcome and be the king of this great vast wilderness that you can see before you, which is your backyard. So it's a really interesting juxtaposition, and all of the tapes that you pick up and the backstory that you get with the professor is great, and you meet this little robot buddy that sends you off on a bunch of different side missions, which is really cool. But of course, you can choose to just survive the days and survive the nights. A good thing to do is to go to sleep and wait till the sun comes up because it's a little less precarious. And then you're going to find out some augmentations to allow you to swim better and to traverse better and build ladders and climb up higher. And a lot of these things that are inhibiting you as you begin the game start to open up a little bit, and you feel a little bit more at home. I found, though, that when I played it in single player, I was at the sort of medium level of challenge, and I was dying a lot. The spiders would just come and find me and attack me, and the little mites would come. These tiny little red facehugger-like mites would come and get me and kill me, and I was just sort of inching along, and my backpacks, which are all the goods that you can collect along the way, were just scattered across the entire garden. I could just sort of pan the camera around and see all the places that have died. And if you go back to the backpacks, you pick up everything that you had collected within them, which is great. I eventually had to just turn the difficulty down to mild and took it a little bit easier on myself because I was just sort of crawling along. I would get into this tree in this hedge lab area that I was trying to get to, and either I would fall off or some spiders would get me or some robot sentries would get me, and I was like, oh my god, this is driving me crazy. So I just took it easier on myself, and I was able to accomplish that and then I could explore a lot more, and you start to get a little bit braver about where you can go once you start to understand a little bit of the stuff and give yourself some more ammunition, some more tools, and some more abilities. But I never did play this with other people. I never did build like a big base camp for myself or anything like that. And so there's a tremendous amount of freedom and customization and expression that this game allows that I didn't really dive into. And I have a lot more to play. It's a massive game, and I have a feeling that Obsidian has been offering lots and lots of content drops all the way along through the preview access, and I don't think that's going to stop now that it's hit the 1.0 mark. I think that this is going to become a very successful game for Xbox and a huge part of the value of Game Pass. You know, it's just really fun to play. I think that's one of the core things about this game. The controls are excellent. Everything just makes a lot of sense. If you've ever played a first-person Bethesda-type game or Fallout New Vegas or any kind of first-person role-playing game where you are in inventory management and you have a lot of abilities that you accumulate and pick up and learn along the way, you're going to be right at home with this. And I do suggest that if you have this, try to play this with some friends. I think it's going to open up in some really interesting ways. That's the next step for me once I sort of navigate through this game avalanche with all of these different games coming through. But I had to stop everything else that was going on and just get sucked into Grounded and come back and be able to talk about it with you guys because I have been loving this thing. I can't really score the game in totality because I haven't played it from every vantage point, but what I have played and what I have enjoyed is just phenomenal. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.